So the Cavs had that rash of injuries happen. And my first instinct was to rush to make a video about the whole situation. But I kind of just didn't want to do that, not because it was a bummer. I mean, that would be part of it. It is a bummer to talk about Evan Mobley out for 6 weeks, Darius Garland out for 4 weeks. At the very least, he'll be reevaluated. Who knows what that reevaluation is going to be? But I also didn't want to run on here, jump and make a doom and gloom video about the Cavs simply because I just wanted to see how they would respond to this. And maybe it's because the Browns have been doing such a good job bouncing back from injury, but I just want to see how they respond because they had a rough 2-game trip against the Celtics. And then we found out that everybody was out. And it would have been real easy to get on this computer and make a podcast about how it's over and we need to trade everybody and how people need to be fired and all of that. But I wanted to wait to see how this team responds, because the fact that adversity happens to a team is not something that should define it, right? Bad things happen to every team. Every team that's ever achieved something has had bad things happen to them, right? It's not the fact that bad things have happened to the Cavs that define them. It's how you respond to those bad things, how you bounce back from those bad things. So that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to sit back and watch the Cavs for the next week and see how they respond to the bad thing happening, right? And the first game that they had back was against the Atlanta Hawks. They played Atlanta. They played well. They won that game by a margin. Donovan Mitchell was doing a great job facilitating the basketball. And you thought to yourself, okay, this could be more fun than I anticipated, right? They got more out of certain pieces. Isaac Okoro just went straight fire in that game, 18 points. You had Dean Wade go off in that game. Jared Allen had 25. Donovan had 22. And how many assists in that game? 13 assists. Max Strus made a couple buckets. You got some bench scoring from Karras and Tristan and Sam Merrill and Craig Porter. And you're like, okay, we put it together for a game. But it's just a game, right? Then you move on down to playing the Rockets. Rockets are a better team than what most people assume. They're 13-11. They're not a terrible team here. And, you know, you get the kind of game that you expect how things to go when the Cavs are out Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. You're going to have to score some points. And Donovan Mitchell scored some points, right? 37 points on pretty good efficiency, flat out balled against the Rockets. And then you had some nice performances off the bench, especially. I mean, Max Strus did his thing, but George Niang, I thought he was really important in this game. Sam Merrill, he's been important down the stretch. We're going to talk about him as well. I thought Craig Porter, for the 9 minutes that he was in there, he actually gave you 9 pretty productive minutes too. And Tristan Thompson. But then at the end of that game, man, Donovan Mitchell gets hurt. And you're like, damn. Like we felt like we figured out, because I was watching that game against the Rockets and I was like, you know what? I think the Cavs are going to be okay. They're not going to have, they might have to fight for their spot to play in, or they might have a 6 or 5 seed or something like that. Like, I don't know if they get to 55 to 60 wins or anything, but they might just be all right. Because I'm watching them, I'm like, okay, well, you know, Donovan Mitchell can be the primary ball handler out there. And then when he has to, you know, take a blow and you need other guys to score, you still got Karis LeVert. You got guys like Craig Porter, too, who can create a little bit. I think you're fine, right? You don't look like you're so, what would be the word? Like the Cavs, before they made the trade for Karis LeVert, were so deficient of anybody who could shoot, dribble, shoot, and pass. Like, it just was so bad. But you have a little bit of that, right? So you feel fine. with the Cavs at that point. Donovan Mitchell goes down with a little shoulder injury. It doesn't seem serious, but he didn't play in this last game versus the Jazz. And you think to yourself, okay, well, what else can we pull out of the hat? And the Cavs find a way to pull something out. Cavs had a ton of bench scoring. I mean, Sam Merrill had 27. Your highest scorer was off the bench. Your highest two scorers were off the bench, Karis LeVert and Sam Merrill. Now, is that something you can super rely on every day? Absolutely not. But it's nice to have those guys in there. And one of the things I remained impressed by from this Cleveland Cavaliers team is how well they utilize the G League. They really seem like they're one of the teams that knows what they're doing with the G League, right? A lot of teams just kind of have the G League team out there to throw guys in Siberia. It doesn't really seem like the Cavs are like that. It really does seem like the Cavs have a real plan with this G League stuff, and that they're really getting the most out of these guys that they're sending to the G League. Sam Merrill spent most of his time last year in the G League, came in at garbage time. Now he's being asked to play 30 minutes. He's balling. Craig Porter Jr. was somebody playing a lot of G League time earlier in the season, kind of on a two-way. I don't even know if I think he just got on a two-way. He was like a bottom of the roster guy. He got to start today. He wasn't very good, but we've seen enough from him to feel confident about his ability in the future. And then obviously got like Imani Bates on that program. So we'll see more from Imani Bates maybe this year or next year. And then you can even go back to guys like last year where they got a ton out the G League, where we were getting like good minutes from, Lamar Stevens. I don't even know if Lamar Stevens was a G League guy, but he definitely was a bottom of the roster guy. They've done a good job turning around that bottom of the roster. And it has its benefits, and they really seem like they know what they're doing. And I don't hear enough people give the Cavs credit for this. Also, another thing that you want to see during this stretch is, hey, man, there are questions about JB, right? Because we've discussed it on this show before. JB isn't necessarily X's and O's guys. He's not going to blow you away with the plays he's going to draw up. He's not a genius. But what JB is a dude who understands how to get everybody to kind of get on the same goal, like coming to work, and get the most out of them because they like coming to work, right? Like he's more of a locker room manager as a coach, which is fine. I mean, Phil Jackson's one of the greatest head coaches of all time. Yes, he knew stuff about the triangle, but he really was a locker room master at the end of the day. That is why they called him the Zen Master, right? That's where, JB's at. JB's more of a locker room guy. Like he's a guy who knows how to handle a locker room. And if you are a locker room guy, this is the stuff that's a test for you. Because it don't matter what plays you draw up, you're going to be running with a deficient roster. So it's about getting those guys motivated to continue to play, having the starters that you still have there stay motivated to give you good minutes, getting guys off the edge of the bench who haven't played that much this year to come in, dust off, and give you good minutes. That is the job of JB. Now, it's been a week, but he's done a good job on this. And that is why I didn't want to have a super knee-jerk reaction. I've learned in my career, sometimes when you can wait, you should. And I'm not doing a victory lap saying the Cavs won't get out of this and we're going to be like, oh my God, what a great coach JB is or whatever it is out of this. I still don't know the answers to that question. I still think things like trading Donovan Mitchell at the deadline is something that's definitely possible. I still think that there could be a amount of shakeup that needs to happen here with this Cavs team. But it's so easy to fall into worst case scenario right after something bad happens. If you're trying to react to it. And that's why I wanted to wait see what the tea leaves look like, see what the Cavs are looking like, because I really want to see what is the make of this roster. What is the make of this locker room? What is the make of this coaching staff? How are they going to handle this adversity? They're 1 week down in a 6-week crisis. They got 5 more weeks left. If they can get 2 more good weeks, that is a massive success. That's where the Cavs are. I don't know why balloons just popped up on the screen, but that's my thoughts. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. I gotta go figure that one out. Y'all be good.